Welcome. I am your host, Trinette Collier-Green, and this is Woman on Fire, where we just sit back, have girl chat about building healthy relationships with self, community, family, friends, and more importantly, with God. And today, I'm very honored and blessed to have here with me Miss Tanesha Bibbs. Tanesha, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. I'm so glad to have you. We're going to jump right in because we got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
So tell us, who is Tanesha Bibbs and what is it that you do?
Well, Tanesha Bibbs is a hair loss specialist. I'm
Okay.
also the cosmetologist, 25 years of beauty industry.
Okay.
And also an educator in cosmetology, beauty industry,
Okay.
beauty coach. I'm an author, speaker, in the beauty industry. And one of the platforms that I have is Behind the Beauty, which is an event every year for women.
Okay.
We started that with Beauty Day.
Okay.
We have a proclamation in the state of Georgia that solidifies Beauty Day in
Really?
the whole state of Georgia.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Tanesha Bibbs and her hair, y'all, is gorgeous. Y'all know I love short and sassy style. So,
Yeah.
wow. So let's jump right in. Tell us, how did this all come about?
Well, I struggled for about 10 years to cope with, was I meant to be in the beauty industry or not?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I went through issues, problems, and situations in my life that caused me not to finish school at the time.
Okay.
So I just pushed past and I decided I'm going to finish school.
Okay.
Went ahead and finished school. Had competed at the Bonner Brothers Hair Show as a student and won first place in the competition.
Wow. Okay.
So that's when my journey really started,
Okay.
to know that this was my niche in our beauty industry. That progressed to me now, really working with Bonner Brothers
Okay.
and teaching the hair loss programs different, in LA and also in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
the beauty industry has really been great to me.
Okay,
And
okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
I'm here.
Because it's constantly changing.
Exactly.
It's
constantly changing.
Yeah.
And so, struggling with that, I raised my children. I lived in the projects.
Okay.
And I stayed there for a couple of years, raised my boys. And then after I raised them, we ended up relocating to Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Where, some more incidents happened in my life where my boys was not a part of my life. So I had to, as a single mom, I had to deal with my kids not being in my home and raising my last two children pretty much, by myself.
Wow. How did that come about?
Well, there was a situation that happened where they wanted to, be with their dad. The circumstances that have happened, they want to be with their dad. So, as a mom that was connected to her kids, that was kind of hard. But eventually I understood that it was the best for them at the moment.
Okay. So do you think that was in God? Well, let's back up. Were you always on the journey of living for God and Christ, or were you Christ-centered growing up or whatnot?
Well, no, actually, I wasn't Christ-centered growing up at the time. My mom did have us in church, so we had a foundation of church. But, as a kid, you go to church, and you'll laugh at the preacher, you'll do certain things. That was my life. Okay. But as I began to grow older and get into relationships, which eventually caused me to go through some of the issues that I had in my life, I realized that as I was, going through those relationships, I lost myself.
Okay. Like most of us do.
I lost myself. And so I had 5 kids.
Okay. That's okay. You say you had 5 kids.
Okay.
You don't look like you had 5 kids.
Yeah, so, I started on that journey.
Okay.
And I got married very early.
Okay.
I got married in 1996.
Okay. Wow.
I was only 17. I just turned, I was about to turn 18 years old, and I got married.
Wow.
And I was married for the first time. And in that relationship turned very abusive very quickly.
Really?
Yeah. And I lived with that for about 10 years.
Really?
Yes.
An abusive relationship?
An abusive relationship. And
wow.
Yep, I stayed in a 10 years in an abusive relationship. And that's where I think I lost my way as a sense.
Yeah.
And then one day I had this moment in my life that I said I needed God, you know, because I knew that was my foundation as a
Right.
little girl.
Yeah.
My mom was not in church with us, but she sent us to church.
Okay.
And I was playing church still.
Right,
you know?
right,
But as I started getting older, and then I got pregnant with my first child,
Okay.
and the abuse was increasing.
Really?
I just got to the point I was like, this just can't be my life. And so I remember, you know, taking my closet at the time. I took everything out of my closet and I made, cleaned it off really nice and made a prayer room. And I started praying.
And this is while you were going through
This
the
is while I was
abuse.
going through abuse.
Really?
And
Okay.
I was going through, I didn't have my second son yet, but I did have my oldest son at the time.
Okay.
So I just started praying, and I started going more, you know, drawing more to God, and going to church and being a part of the choir, and still going through the chaos at the house.
So you're sitting in church, all pretty, I use the word, and abused.
Yeah, black eye, abused.
Wow. So did anybody notice that a mom know?
Oh yes, one of the ladies at the church, you know, this is how I got introduced to makeup.
Okay.
Because she knew something was going on.
Okay.
And she came to me one day and said, I would love to do your makeup. So she did my makeup, and she used a heavy foundation to cover my face.
Okay.
And so from that point on, she would come and you know, just be a blessing to me and my kids, because they were small babies.
Okay.
And she would be a blessing to us, you know, by just coming over, seeing how they were doing.
Okay.
You know,
in the midst of all of this.
in the midst of all that was going on. And then we ended up moving from that location where we lived, and we moved into our own home.
Okay.
And I still took one of the closet and I put this sheer white sheet in there and just prayed in that room. And that's how I began to build my relationship with God, you know, and it lasts here for 22 years.
So at any time during this, while you're building this relationship, did you ever think, okay, Lord, I'm still going through this. I'm praying to you. They say to pray and give everything, but you're still going through this abuse. Did you ever feel like God had given up on you, or was He listening to you?
No, absolutely. I believe, I was like, God, you must have given up on me. I mean, I see the fruits now, the manifestation of, you know, what God has have done in my life.
Right.
I believe that through that process is build patience and endurance, and to understand process. You know, even though I'm not advocating for anybody to be in an abusive relationship, but I'm saying for me, in order for me to, you know, connect with the audience that God has put for me, I believe I walked through that for that purpose.
Wow. We're sitting here with Tanesha Bibbs, y'all, entrepreneur, not a beauty consultant, beauty entrepreneur. Like the beauty kingdom right here. So take us more into the journey afterwards. How did you get out of that abusive relationship? Because so many, I was once in an abusive relationship back in college, and I just remember it was hard getting out of it, but you still have women, married women with children that are still, they're stuck and they have no way out. How did you get out?
You know, when the way that I got out was, I remember having my babies. At the time, I had 3 boys, and they were like step babies. One was in diapers, one was potty training.
Oh, wow.
You know,
right.
And so I just prayed. I went in my prayer closet, and I told the Lord, I said these words. I said, God, if He's the one for me, you change him so that he can be good for me and the children, or you remove him immediately. Wow. And within 24 hours, I remember he knocked on the door. He said, I'm leaving you. I'm gone.
Really?
And I was looking there like, and I had the babies on the couch. And I was like, oh, okay. He came and got 4 black plastic bags. I remember. You remember and he left.
Really?
And he left the children on the couch, and he left me. And he's never been in my life after that.
After 10 years of a marriage, an abusive relationship, marriage, you said that prayer, and within 24 hours.
24 hours, and that's why I believe God, because every relationship after that I've ever been into, I've said the same prayer, and they have been gone.
Right. Like,
so,
you know, I can pray your way now.
I want to say it this time.
Like, you better leave me alone now. You're not going to say that prayer now. Wow. But that gives women hope, because a lot of times you pray in these situations and you're like, okay, Lord, are you hearing me or what? And you don't understand it. But like you said, for you, it's patience. You had to be taught patience.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you feel? I mean, like, you prayed this prayer and he's gone. How did you feel?
I felt abandoned.
Yeah.
And I felt like, okay, God, I knew I said what I said.
Right,
but
right.
I didn't expect you to take all this from me.
Yeah.
So I remember when he left, literally, when he left, he whatever he was doing, at that moment, he had the lights cut off. So we were in the dark.
Wow.
And I prayed and I said, God, I cannot have my babies in the dark.
Right.
So I went down to the light company and I told them I have 3 kids, and at the time my boys had asthma, really bad. So they were in the emergency room all the time.
Right.
And I told God, and the lady was like, I'm going to help you.
Right.
And she cut my lights on.
Literally
cut my lights. And then the church that I was going to at the time, they were really a blessing to me because they were able to, they helped me with lights. They helped me make sure my mortgage at the time was paid, that we were okay.
So he just cold turkey left.
He left and went with somebody else with 3 kids.
Wow.
So
you sitting there like, okay, like you said, I know I asked him to be removed, but you didn't think like this.
Not like this. And I really thank God for his father, because his father was, a very inspiration in my life at the time.
Really?
And, he helped me raise the boys.
And
so, and my kids are now in college, and they have their lives, and they're very respectful, boys.
Right,
and I'm really proud of them.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that's a testimony right there.
Amen.
So take us further. After all of this, how did you regroup? How did you find yourself? Because again, we lose ourselves.
Yes.
You were married 10 years.
I was married 10 years.
In 10 years, I can imagine you're a mother, wife. You don't know who you are.
Right.
So how did that journey begin?
So after the first marriage, we're going to get into a little bit more. After the first marriage, I decided I didn't want to date. I didn't want to be in a relationship with anybody. And that was for a very long time. It was some years.
Right.
And then I packed up the kids and we moved to a small town. And which was much better for me to raise them because Atlanta was so fast.
Yeah.
And I went to raise them, and then I met a guy. And then I got married. I called that my one-day marriage.
What's a one-day marriage?
Really, it was a 1 year.
1 year, right? I don't
know if I want to count that.
Right.
So I ended up having my children, which I do not regret that.
Right.
And, once I had my kids, it was just, I got to the point in my life I started going through like a depressed stage.
Really?
Because I was like, I have 5 kids. I live in the projects at this time, and then I don't have no kids, no baby daddy, nothing like that.
Right.
So what are people gonna think? This was my mindset.
And
then now I'm in the church, and I'm fornicating, and there's so much goes on, so much warfare that goes on in your mindset that you believe that all this lies and these things that your mind tell you that's contrary, and it goes against whatever it goes against God's word in your life. It's not truth.
Right.
And so I didn't know how to separate that. So I started believing it.
Wow.
So what made me get this whole new life where all this other stuff has been birthed is that I started going to a church. Where I cried out and I got help.
Really?
And we had a counseling session at a counseling department at my church. I agreed to go to counseling, and I began to learn about myself through that counseling.
So you use professional help?
I use professional / spiritual help, because the counselor that was counseling me, she had the Holy Ghost.
Right.
And she was, and I needed that in my life to hear somebody else say, "Why are you enabling somebody else? Why are you trying to be somebody else's mother? That's not your makeup.
Right.
This is who God created you to be. This is who God called you to be."
Exactly.
And when I went through that, it was an 8-week program, or 10 weeks, 10-week program. And one thing my pastor said to me after the end, he said, whenever chance you get, I want you to tell your story. And that's how I knew that. And even after the counseling, it was still a process.
Right.
Because
it
was still a process. The reason why I was in counseling is because I had after all the relationship with the 10-year abuse relationship, then the one-day marriage.
The one day.
Now I decided I'm going to hold myself, not going to worry about, I'm not going to be with nobody. Right. And I end up getting married to an elder at the church.
Really?
Who ends up being a full-fledged homosexual.
We're here with Tanesha Bibbs.
Hey.
Wait a minute. Wait. Back up.
Yes.
Back up. Mm-hmm. So you went from abusive relationship, 10 years, then you one day, were you in love with the one day, or you just?
I said I was in love, but
right,
you know
but
it's
right. Got through counseling, professional counseling at that, not just your girlfriend telling you, giving you advice, but you went through professional counseling, and then you married again, and okay, talk to us, because my mouth is
this particular person that was in my life at the time, we were friends for over 10 years. Okay. And, I kind of had a little reservations there, but when they're telling you no, they're not like this. Yeah. You just don't come out and say, oh, At that moment, I didn't, my spirit of discernment wasn't really full. It was still developing. Yeah. And so I just kind of went against the spirit of discernment.
Because you, and also because you were in church, and like you said, he's an
elder, and I respected him because I knew we were in ministry together, and we were both ordained together, and so things, and then he went. We were married for 8 years.
Really?
For 8 years.
8 years, and you didn't know.
I did not know. When I started finding out is that it took us months, like literally a month, to consummate our relationship, our marriage.
Really?
Yes, literally.
After being friends and so forth, how did you feel about all of that? Were you okay with it, or you
anytime you deal with that type of environment that you're unfamiliar with, the spirit of perversion will sit on you. That's how that's how I can only identify with it. Yeah. But I believe that, and that's when his desires. I felt his desires in my sleep. I felt his desires. I saw him in dreams. In other words, he wasn't performing with me, but he was performing with somebody else, and I don't think it was the woman. But it was still, that's what he was doing, and I felt that. You know what I mean? And then I act like. I started covering it up.
Okay.
I started saying, maybe it's me. Maybe I need to just be a loving wife.
So you start blaming yourself.
More submitted.
Okay.
And so, let's go to counseling now in front of the pastor. Okay, we're going for counseling in front of the pastor. And I'm being, you're not a humbled wife. You're not a submitted wife. You need to be more submitted to your husband. So what I would do, submit more, submit myself. Right. Then I started working 3 jobs because I figured that is what the submission they were talking about. Okay. While he was laying on the couch and sleeping and not being a support system. And
still keeping in mind, you prior to that, you had already lost yourself from being that wife and trying to make things right again. So here you are years later, you're doing the same thing. So you're still blaming yourself.
Absolutely.
And you're still putting that pressure on you. And he just
but not even giving myself time to heal.
Right.
So that's the purpose of me really sharing this, because I didn't give myself enough time in between relationships to heal.
And most of us don't do that.
Exactly.
We don't do that.
And we go right back into these relationships, because even though he's a I don't know if I would necessarily say a wolf in sheep clothing. Yeah. But I would just say it's the same. He's a man. Yeah. But he just maybe. His attitude or his persona may be different than the other man, but he's still a man, bottom line. And he's still, each of the men that I've been with, as far as in relationships with, they all had some great things about them. Right. Then they had some not so great things about them. Right. So, just going through that, it was just like a cycle. It's like a revolving door. I would, keep going through this and keep going. And it was all about how I felt about myself. I had low self-esteem. I had no self-confidence. I did not believe in me. I was not walking in purpose at all. And I just allowed that in my life because of I call it the open, the gateway that was open in my life when I was a little girl through the spirit of molestation. So that portal was not closed. Right. So the spirit of perversion just kept coming, through different sources. Right. My first marriage, I felt, I was abusing myself. You know what I mean? And then, and so forth. So I just kept going through the cycles of rejection and isolation and feeling like I needed to be validated.
So when you were with your last husband and you're in church, were there times where you just said, okay?
I'm glad you asked that question.
Because we sit in churches.
Come on.
And we have these issues.
Yes.
But we're so afraid. We can't talk about it because, again, you know how we can, girl, you heard what she doing or she going through, and
she ain't submitted.
Right.
You know,
so take us through that.
I was angry.
Okay.
I was angry, and I'm not going to tell no stories
here.
I was
That's
angry
the truth.
Because I was like, can somebody see me for a minute?
Right.
Why is it that it's always the first thing we go to is the wife is not submitted?
Say that again.
If you are a man and you have not been intimately involved with your wife you've only been intimately involved with her for 5 times out of an 8-year marriage.
5 times.
Something is wrong with that situation.
Right.
So I really believe that sometimes it is hard for, to be in the church in that aspect because you cover up so much. I covered it up for 8 years. I was everything, covering it up, just like, happy wife.
So you had the show
and my
going
husband at the time sleeping upstairs, and I'm sleeping in the downstairs room.
For 8 years.
This is for 8 years. Nobody knew it. And when I share this, they're like, "Oh my God!"
So you get made up every day.
Honey,
you
made
keeping
up,
the
lashes,
house,
cute hair, making other people look good.
Right.
And I call it sexual abuse, I think.
Yeah.
Being deprived from intimacy, being deprived from just conversation, covering.
Yeah.
And it was just...
So at any time did you try to talk to him, and I'm pretty sure you did, like most submitted wives, we trying to make it better for him. What was that like?
Well, let me tell you, I wasn't as sweet every time. I got real tired, but no, I think through the prayers of my leaders now, that have really helped me get through the process. Going through counseling with them and them really praying us through, and just submitting to what my apostle had shared with me as a woman, as being a wife, and and I just submitted to his words and went through counseling. And went through the programs, met some great women that went through just some things that I've been through. I wasn't the only one. I felt like I was the only one.
At the time.
And I was hiding, and I didn't want to share because I was like, what are the people going to say? This minister, really? You going through all of this?
Right. And you in the pulpit?
And come on. You're preaching, or you're praying for people, or you're in whatever you're doing. Still, the title was there, but on what was going on behind doors is here is a wounded woman that is thinking that, oh my God, I'm getting married to this man of God in the church.
Right, man of God.
Elder.
Elder at that.
And he's an undercover homosexual, and we're like, okay, well, what are we gonna do now? Had you been honest,
exactly,
it'd have been a little different.
But
you're covering it up, so now it puts me in a place where, what am I to do as a wife? Am I supposed to submit to it? So I'm glad that I seek counsel from my apostle. And that I took his words, because I will still be in that same relationship today,
trying to make it work.
And it's been 4 years since we've been
divorced.
So
how did you end that? Did you say that prayer, the same prayer?
You know what? No, I did that one a little differently.
You did that?
I told him he had to go.
Said, Lord, I'm gonna help this one out.
I'm not advocating for nobody out. But for me, I suppressed a lot of things, and I covered up, and I never really tried to open up. And it just, I just one day I just got to the point. I said, I'm done.
Right.
I can't
because
do this anymore.
You were tired of being tired. This was the third time, and that was it. Wow.
Yeah. So that's where I believe Behind the Beauty was birthed.
Okay. Tell us more about that.
Behind the Beauty experience is an event day. It's a day. To me, I felt like I was behind the beauty. I could make someone look beautiful on the outside, and that it also includes myself. I can dress it up real good. I can make my hair look nice. But then on the inside, I was wounded and had issues, and I couldn't even, even though I had a smile on my face, they was like, "Oh my God, Tanesha, you just got this great smile," and they thinking, "Oh, your husband just love you," and I'm just smiling, but behind that beauty was a mess, unforgiveness, rejection. Anger, bitterness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see what the bitterness.
Just jealous. And I'm so glad that God had delivered me from that. And that's the purpose of Behind the Beauty and True Beauty Uncovered. Discovering your true beauty from the inside out comes from.
And so this is a once a year event?
So yes, this is a once a year event. Behind the Beauty Experience is a once a year event. And it's capturing, women that what's on the inside of them, and just really allowing them to connect with their purpose and to connect with who they are, who they were created to be, and to just really walk in that and not settle. And not sit here and blame themselves for everything.
Right, because we do that.
Yeah.
We are so quick to blame ourselves. I remember blaming myself really up until I remarried last year. I just blamed myself. I kept thinking back, what did I do? What could I do better or whatnot? And God just had to say, you're fine. Just no. You got to stop that blaming, and so many women do that. We go through that self-blame.
Right, it's a part of rejection.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I wrote about in the book. I wrote about rejection.
Right.
And rejection will really cause you to walk in a place of really not believing in yourself, really trying to live up to the expectations of what people think of you, and not walking in your God-given potential.
Right.
And like I said earlier, settling for whatever.
Right, because we're so quick to settle.
Quick to settle. So quick to settle, not evaluate. Now, if a guy come to me, I'm asking a lot of questions.
Right, hello.
And even if they say, man, you ask a lot of questions, okay. Right. Because I'm not afraid anymore.
Exactly.
I have the right. This is what I learned in counseling. You have the right to ask any questions you want to ask. Right.
You have,
if they're uncomfortable,
then
something is wrong with them being uncomfortable. But let them be uncomfortable and not you.
Right.
Yeah.
I so agree with you. I told my husband last year, I said, due to my ex-husband, I'm going to ask questions this time.
Absolutely.
And I said the same thing. If you don't, I said, I'm going to ask you. So if you don't like it, see you later. He's like, okay. I'm going to ask questions this time. I'm not going through it again.
Absolutely. And that's the reason why I choose to heal and heal from the hurt and heal from the wounds, because I believe that there is somebody there and I'm not going to treat him the way that I was treated. So that's the reason why I said, God, let me heal now and let me, go through my process and write the book and do all this other stuff so that when whoever he may be come in my life, that I don't hold up the process by my past rejections and my hurt and my distrust, and these people have been dishonest, so now I feel like he's going to be dishonest. So I ask God to work on me now and gut whatever it is in me that will cause me to stop the growth of my new relationship.
Tanesha Bibbs, well, tell the audience how we can connect with you in this powerful testimony and event. Tell us how we can connect with you.
Absolutely. Well, you can reach out to me on Instagram at Tanesha Bibbs, as well as for more information on the Behind the Beauty Experience, you can go to btbretreat.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanesha Bibbs. An awesome testimony, just a phenomenal woman. You don't even look like you went through all of that. That's the blessing. That's the blessing of God's grace and mercy for us. So I thank you so much, and I'm honored and blessed to have you here. I really, truly thank you. And we thank you so much for joining us on today. And stay connected. Stay connected to these awesome women. And you can stay connected with me, all social media, Trinette L. Collier. And on the website, I am TrinetteLCollier.com. And as always, live, love, and laugh. You have one life to live, and then every day that you wake up, it's a new beginning. Take that and just get up and say, you know what, I'm gonna do it again. Yesterday may not have gone the way you wanted to, but today is a brand new day and it's a new beginning, and take that. So until next time, Till next time, I thank you and love you, and see you later. Bye.